Well, I bet you're probably wondering what this tool is, huh? I bet you've never seen something like this before, and you're looking at this thing going, what in the world does this weird looking tool here do? Well, this is a very useful tool, and I think every homeowner should have one, and certainly anybody that's doing any kind of home remodeling or painting ought to have this one. So you're looking at this going, how can this help me painting? How can this make my job go easier? Well, I'll tell you, and it all starts right now. Hey everybody, Jeff here, and welcome back again to the channel where we give you world-class home renovation tips on remodeling your kitchen, remodeling your bathroom. We do all sorts of engineering disasters around your house, and we also help you with tool review. And if this is your first time here, you want to make sure you click on that subscribe button down below. And when you do that, click the little gray icon, the little bell icon right next to it. That way you will be alerted every single time we upload a video, because you will not want to miss any of our videos, I guarantee you that. In today's tool review here, we're showing you the pin popper. And what this is a great little tool here that helps you remove the hinge pins on all of your doors in your house. And why do you need to do that? Well, if you're painting, and this has always been my pet peeve with people here, if you're painting, you really should remove the door off the hinge. I hate it when people paint right over the hinges. And especially, you know, when I take over a foreclosed property and we're taking off all of the doors and bringing them over into the living room on the cement floor, and we're spray painting all of them, we take all the hardware off and we take the doors off of the hinges to get them out there too. And so having a tool like this is very handy, especially for you as a homeowner as well too. And so what this does is you stick this under the hinge and you hammer it up from underneath, and it just very slowly, just over a couple of seconds, it knocks the hinge pin up enough for you to go ahead and get that door off the hinges there. And it beats trying to unscrew the door off the hinges, which is even worse. You don't want to try to do that. Okay, so many of you who have removed doors from the hinges before are probably wondering, okay, Jeff, why do I need to buy one of these? Because I got a screwdriver and I use the screwdriver. Well, yeah, that works too. If that works for you, that's fine. The problem with screwdrivers is it's a very narrow hole at the bottom. It's 3/16 of an inch. So sometimes you might have a screwdriver whose shank is too thick to fit through that hole. And some people, of course, also like to use a thin, flat-headed screwdriver, right? Well, what happens if you're tapping that thing with a hammer and you miss and you slip? Now you just scraped up the whole door, you ruined the wood, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So this tool here is made to perfectly fit around all those crevices on the door. It's specifically designed for one task only. And as you know, in all of our videos, I always tell people, try to get the right tool for the job. You know, it's like KFC, we do chicken right. This tool does one thing and one thing and only. All this tool does is pop hinge pins. It doesn't do anything else. Now, I was very surprised to find that, stupidly, Home Depot and Lowe's do not carry this. I was very disappointed, because I actually went in there last week trying to find one, and they don't even have it on their website. You do a search for it, and they're like, sorry, error. So it's amazing that they don't carry something as useful like this, especially where both stores have an entire aisle that's filled with doorknobs and locks and stuff like that, and hinges, and you would think this would be a shoo-in to have in the store. So unfortunately, you can only get this pin popper hinge pin remover tool on Amazon. So I'll put a link to it down in the description below there for you. And by the way, if you click on that link and buy one, we get a commission for it too. So this is not a paid sponsored ad. Nobody paid me for doing this. I bought this with my own money here. But you know, like any other website, I mean, come on, is there anybody in the world alive today that doesn't know when you see a link to Amazon, the people are getting paid for having a link there? So anyway, we appreciate your support, because it does help us to continue to bring you more world-class videos like this. So the link is down below to Amazon where you can buy this, and I highly suggest you get one. So we'll show you how this works now. So as you can see here with the pin popper, it's this little pin right here that slides into that channel inside the door hinge. And so this is what forces the pin up. So by tapping on the bottom of this with the hammer here on the base, it causes this pin to slam into the hinge pin, and it knocks the hinge pin right up the channel there. So here they are showing you on the pin popper package here exactly how it works. So you can see how that pin comes up from underneath there on the pin popper. It comes up from underneath your hinge and it smashes the pin right out. And we'll show you that in operation in a second. And the instructions, of course, are pretty easy to follow. And we will, of course, put a link to this on the bottom in the description for you, in the video description. Alright, so let me illustrate here for you what I'm talking about. Sometimes the troubles people have is sometimes your bottom hinge can be a little low to the floor. So like this screwdriver right here, if this is all you had, this would not fit, okay? And then on top of that, this one looks like a little big to even fit inside the channel there to even pop the pin out of that tunnel there. So this one you couldn't use. And okay, so what if you had this one? Well, this one's not too bad, okay? But if I want to tap it from underneath with a hammer, I don't have much of a mechanical advantage. See, I can't, and then I'm up against the floor, banging on the floor. I could put a mat down, but I don't have enough upward tapping motion there. So that's why the pin popper comes in handy here, because you can see it's designed and shaped to fit around all of these grooves here around the door. So all you do is you line it up to the bottom there, and so now you can see how far up I am off the floor. I even have room to go like that, see? 2 seconds, it just takes 2 seconds. So this is why you'll see us mention over and over in all of our videos here that having the right tool for the job means the world of difference. It can mean you getting something done in 2 seconds, or trying in vain, going back and forth out to your garage, trying to go get different screwdrivers or other pointed objects that you think might fit that end up not fitting at all. If you just had the right tool for the job, this guy had done it perfectly for you. And then also you can use the upper edge of the pin popper here to help pull the pin up, so you can come right here and tap it up the rest of the way with the hammer, see? And you can also use it to help push it down. Okay, so what makes this tool so useful is that it is designed to specifically work in this space right here, and it's all fit to contour around everything there on the door. So if you look right here on the bottom, see how it all contours around all of those shapes there? And you line it up to the hole in the bottom of the hinge pin there, right there. And then this is going to go into that hole. You got to make sure this pin right here enters that hole right up there. All right, and then once everything's all fitting there and nice and snug, that's when you take your hammer and just tap it up. And in some cases, if nobody's messed with this hinge too much, and if they haven't painted it too much over the years, and if it's still oiled on the pin nicely, you might just be able to get away with just pushing it up with your hand. But most times it requires a couple of little love taps to make it happen. Okay, so the pin popper comes in right about at almost exactly 4 inches long. And don't forget, it's got those 2 holes there you see on the left-hand side of it. That's to put like a lanyard string around it if you want. So for people who are going to be using this pin popper a lot, to remove the hinge pins from a lot of door hinges throughout a house or throughout the course of their workday, this would be a handy tool to have just hanging off your belt. And by the way, the pin popper is great too, not just for removing the hinge pins from doors, but it's also quite useful to use. For example, like let's say you're working with a bunch of other people and somebody's already used a screwdriver to maybe pull a door off the hinges, unscrew the hinges because they couldn't get the pin out, but you can use this pin popper to come in with a much better horizontal mechanical advantage to get that stuck pin out. Because once in a blue moon you will find pins that are just unbelievably stuck, usually from years of people putting multiple coats of paint on and just not being very careful, so the paint seeps inside the hinge and it dries and cakes on to the pin. top of the pin popper, and as you can see how you got those cutouts there, those odd shaped cutouts? What those do is once you pop the head of the pin up, these will slip up and around it like a collar, right? Then you can bang it further from the bottom here with your hammer, and that will, now you're banging the pin from the head, from the underside of the head on that lip, and it just slides them right up out of the channel. Here, and we have the best mechanical advantage possible. Now we can determine once and for all why this stupid third bottom hinge pin would not pop out of the bottom of this rotted wooden door. And the best way to pop it out with all of the tools you have, the best way to do it is actually with another pin. Why? Because when I stick it here in the bottom, it will completely fill the hole there, and that way it won't wiggle around in place and lose our mechanical advantage. We'll just hammer it dead on. See? So now it's coming up pretty easy. Okay, so you can see here, I've sanded this pin down, so now that it's actually restored its original kind of brass colored luster. And let's see if it fits back into the thing here. See, it actually goes in pretty smoothly now. Now I can pull it out with my bare hand. Whereas a minute ago, you saw we had to actually use the hammer and bang on the 10-in-1 tool there to get this thing to pop out. So even without oil, now it's doing great. So that's pretty much, with a lot of hinge pins, that's the thing to do, is to just sand them down to the bare metal. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video so far, and if you did, please go ahead and smash that like button below, that thumbs up. That lets us know that you like us, and it also helps YouTube rank our videos better, so we appreciate your help in that. And also, if you haven't subscribed already yet, while it's fresh on your mind now, click on that subscribe button down below and click the gray bell icon next to it. That way you'll be alerted every single time we upload a new video. Hey, that's it for this week, folks, and we'll see you on the next What Is It Wednesday.